Hi, this is Reverend Joanna Bartlett. In this video, I'm talking about grief and one of the myths of grief, or how to deal with grief when a grieving event or loss occurs. So, little story. When I was a teenager and we had moved to the US and had been living in a rental house that wouldn't let us have any pets for the first year that we were here. And then we moved to another town, and the house that my mum rented would let us have a pet. And so I begged her and I begged her and I begged her to be able to have a cat. And she relented because I was a very persuasive child. And we went to the animal shelter and I adopted this gorgeous little kitten, a gray tabby with a white fuzzy belly, and I named him Weasel. Weasel was the best cat ever. I loved Weasel. Weasel was great and would like nibble my eyelids and kind of knead and purr and sleep with me, and just was really exactly what my heart needed at that point in time. Unfortunately, Weasel was only with us, or with me, for a few months, because on Christmas Eve I came home from my part-time job at the grocery store to find Weasel soaking wet and shivering and wounded. And so we took Weasel to the vet, and the emergency vet on Christmas Eve told me, try not to start crying, but it still bothers me, it turns out, after all these years. The emergency vet told me that there wasn't anything that he could do. And so we put Weasel to sleep, and Weasel died on Christmas Eve. It was very, very sad. A few weeks later was my birthday. My birthday's in late January, and my mum took me to the same animal shelter, and we got another cat called Hobbs. And Hobbs was this tiny little orange tabby, and it took me a really long time to bond with Hobbs. The reason is that when a loss occurs, you can't just replace the loss. I mean, you can try, but it doesn't work. It's not what the heart needs. The heart needs what it needs. Sometimes it needs time to grieve. Sometimes, it needs the tools to actually move through grief. But replacing the loss with another of the same, whether that is girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse or cat or dog or job or whatever it is that you've lost, house even, without truly grieving it and completing your relationship with it, completing what's unfinished emotionally for you, leaves you incomplete. It wasn't until a year later, when I convinced my mum to let me adopt another cat for my 17th birthday, that I really began to love Hobbs. And I ended up having Hobbs until she was 19 years old, until she passed away from old age and cancer about 7 years ago. So know that if you've tried replacing the loss and it doesn't work, that's okay. It's not supposed to work. You need to move through your grief and to deal with what is unfinished and unresolved in the relationship, or, your relationship to what it is that you have lost. I hope to see you in the next video.